What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pancis. If it is your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If not, thanks for your continued support. Today is Thanksgiving here in the United States, so I want to thank every one of you, my followers and viewers in the United States. A very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoy the family. If you celebrate, I usually enjoy a good feast, so I hope you do as well. So let's hop into this video. We're going to give a good update on everything that's going on and what's to come in the next few episodes. So let's start it off. First thing is my 2000 Porsche 911. It is winterized. I didn't film it the other day because there's nothing really to film. I just cleaned it. Battery tender, cover. It is good to go. Next up here is my 2004 SAAB 9.5 Aero. We just serviced this car over the weekend. I finished the cooling system. I finished off the complete suspension of this car. So if you guys haven't checked out any of those videos, be sure to check it out. We replaced the rear and the front, and of course, if you guys haven't watched in the last month or so, we had a coolant line go, so I replaced the other coolant line, which is the upper rad hose here. And right now I have the car idling and on ramps because I'm still trying to burp some of the air out of the system. So I'm still seeing the coolant needle go down when I'm not accelerating. So when it's 25 degrees outside, it is not necessarily the most ideal situation because we want to keep heat in that engine and keep the heat going in the cabin. So it is the best heat in the auto industry. I still stand to that today. No matter any of the new cars that I drive, the SAAB has the best heat ever, no joke. And the heated seat is super strong. So we want to make sure this thing is 100% right for the winter now. Upcoming on this car, a couple updates on this car coming up. I just ordered rear trailing bushings, control arm bushings, a polyurethane bushing, an upgrade for that. Another upgrade because the ones that are on there now, they start to squeak as they get older, and they shrink in the winter time. So as it gets colder, the rubber shrinks and the squeaks get louder. So we're gonna go ahead for 70 bucks, why not, upgrade the rear controlling trail arm bushings there. So upcoming video soon, in the next couple weeks, we're gonna be working on that. And as for everything up front here, besides for the little cooling burping system right now, everything is under control, thankfully. Nothing really too concerning up here. I might go ahead and do another transmission service in the upcoming months. I did it last year, but we've put 20,000 miles on this car since. So it's probably a good time to keep fresh fluids going because it's an old transmission, but it's a healthy one. So we might as well make sure it's right. This is filling up, so that tells me that there's still air in the system. Let me give it a little bit of a rev and see what happens. So obviously the thermostat is at its normal temp, but let's see if I put this heat on full blast, it actually might drop down. So if it drops down with this running, that means there's still a bubble or air in the system. Or possibly when we overheated, we're not overheated, but when we lost the coolant hose a couple weeks ago and we kept driving the car with no cooling in the system, it could have been that we destroyed the thermostat that's in the engine block. We never overheated the engine, which is good. I kept turning the car off and coasting it down the road to make sure the temp stayed down. So I know we didn't destroy anything there in terms of the internals, but if we destroyed the thermostat, then this might call for a new thermostat again. We did replace it last year, so hopefully this little theory of raising the front nose of the car will allow some of the air bubbles to get through the system. So far, the thermostat is not dropping with heat running, so that's a good sign. Let's see if that sticks. Let's watch it here a moment. It's looking pretty good, guys. I don't know. I don't see the thermostat dropping. It is 29 degrees and we have the heat blasting. So if there was air in the system, that thermostat would be dropping down a little bit. So let's we'll give it a few more minutes. This theory of raising the front clip allows for the air to rise through the system. So if you guys know about the SAAB, this right here, this is a coolant return line for air from the upper rad hose, which goes back over to here. So if there was air in the system, it's going to come through this hose and back out here. You don't typically need to take off the cap, but I did, and so far so good. Kind of pushing on this here, giving that a little help, trying to push the air through. Again, thermostat is not moving, so that is a good sign that we have all the air out of the system. So that is an update on here. I'm going to put this cap back on here to let that pressurize. All right, and since I have you guys, and we talked about replacing the upper rad hose, this is the old one. It doesn't seem to be in too bad of a shape, but if you look at the ends, you can kind of see how it is swelling up a little bit where the clamp would go. That's from age and pressure building up there, and typically that is where the hose will break and fail if you're going to have a hose failing. We've seen it on the other hose that went bad to the other couple weeks ago, and so we went ahead just for precaution. You can say this one has some miles on it. So now that we got to show you the update on that, I'm going to throw it away, but everything's looking good. Let's see if that thermostat's holding. Thermostat is holding in the center, and that heat is blaring through this window here, so that is a good update for you. I'm pretty sure we're going to be good there. I think we got it finally. I was afraid that I had to go ahead and replace the thermostat again, so thankfully so far so good. These cars are awesome, guys. I mean, you got to give it some love, a lot of love, depending on who you are. I like to make everything perfect, so I've been giving this thing a lot of love, and it really pays off. The last couple months we're averaging 2,500 miles a month on this car, which is absolutely amazing. The more you drive it, the less brakes. I hope I don't jinx myself, but everything runs good. The car is smooth. Now that we have new suspension, new everything, essentially the car is like brand new. And inside, obviously, as you guys can see, is also in good shape. So I think we're good here. I don't see the thermostat dropping. It's cold out, like I said, and the heat is blaring through the defroster, and I don't think we have any air in the system anymore, which is a good thing. So we'll let that idle for a few more minutes, and I'm gonna give you one last update because the other SAAB is on the road today, actually, so it's not here, but my Jaguar is sitting in the garage here. As you guys can tell, I've been driving the SAAB. This has been sitting in the garage, not because, well, it's been sitting in the garage, and here's why. One, I want to do one ceramic coating one more time this season. I try to do it twice a year. The second time I do it before the winter time, just to kind of protect the paint from all the salt and debris. But there's a really cool update coming on this car. I know a lot of you guys follow the channel possibly for the SAAB, but if you guys are enjoying if you guys enjoy all car content, I might title this video to highlight this upgrade coming for this car, because it's gonna be really freaking awesome. So stock, this car comes with 340 horsepower, which is a lot. It's a light car. It seems like it's a heavy car, but it's only like 3,500 pounds curb weight, which is lighter than the SAAB because it's got all aluminum alloy on the suspension, so it keeps the car pretty light, even though it seems like it's much bigger. So anyways, so 340 stock. I don't remember the torque off spec or offhand, but I added this intake cone, probably adds like a good 10 horsepower. So figure the car's sitting at 350 horsepower currently, and we are running a supercharger on this car, and there's a supercharger pulley right here if you guys aren't familiar with superchargers. And I went ahead the other day and I reached out to a company called Mina Gallery. I'll link their website down below, so if you guys want to check their site out, they have a lot of cool performance parts and other things that they specialize in for a lot of Euro cars. So Jaguar, Porsche, Mercedes, Range Rover, a couple other cars. Anyways, I reached out to them. They have a pulley kit, they have a supercharger kit, and a crank pulley kit. So I ordered the supercharger kit, the pulley, because obviously it's right on top there, I just showed you. And they called me up and they said, you know what, you should probably go ahead and replace the crank pulley. It's a little bit more money, but you get much better results in terms of power increase, and of course it's easier to replace. So the crank pulley literally sits right here where my finger's pointing. My finger's touching it right there, and there's 6 bolts that hold that onto the engine. So pretty much just a quick adjustment to that, and you guys can see we have 2 belts, one on the inside, one on the outside. This outside belt runs to the pulley there, up and to the supercharger. So that's the pulley that we're going to be replacing. So 6 bolts hold that on. We had, you know, pretty much removed this stuff here, and that pulley just easily comes off within an hour. Now, with just that pulley, we're going to increase the horsepower by 50. So we're going to be running around 400 or so, maybe 4 to 425 horsepower with that upgrade. So it's pretty freaking amazing. And so once I got talking to these guys, they're pretty enthusiastic about Jaguar, which is kind of cool. I spent a lot of time on the phone with the gentleman over at Mina Gallery. I got to talking, and they also offer an intake tube kit. So obviously this kit here is from the factory. You can see how it's pretty restrictive with the airflow. You know, this little indentation, all this stuff. These are sound deadening devices. I mean, all this stuff is kind of restrictive of letting the car breathe. So they offer an intake tube kit which changes this part out and keeps the cones. And I was talking, it's a nice penny to upgrade that, you know, that component as well, and also increases the horsepower by like another 20 because it allows the car to breathe. Let me check my thermostat while we're talking. We're looking really, really good, guys. This was not doing this the other day, so I really believe the air got through the system finally, so that's a good thing. So anyways, back to the car. I told them I have a YouTube channel, told them we can do some promoting, so I'm going to promote Mina Gallery down in the description because they're hooking it up. They're going to give me I'm paying for it, so don't get me wrong, I'm not getting anything free, but I am getting something kind of added, which is kind of cool. It was like a bonus for me since I'm going to promote them. They're going to actually powder coat the intake system the same blue that we have on the car, so that's going to match the exterior of the car, and they're going to powder coat it. It usually comes like in a chrome finish, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I think between the intake and the crank pulley, we're going to be somewhere between 400 and 430 horsepower on this Jaguar. And if I finish that off with another tune, we can probably get this thing between 450 and 500 horsepower, which is a freaking ton of power for this all-wheel drive powertrain system, 3,500 foot, you know, 3,500 curb weight car, and it's a daily. And I don't think that kind of power performance increase is going to hinder the car's reliability. I think the car is totally underpowered from the factory. We have a really overbuilt engine, a solid motor, because this engine is the 3.0 V6 engine, which is based off of Jaguar's or Ford's 5.0 V8. So if you guys are familiar with the 5.0 V8 supercharged engine that like lives in all of Ford's cars, this car is based off of that platform, which is pretty freaking amazing because those engines, those 5.0s, can produce 600, 700, 800 horsepower if you're performancing them up. So this is a really sound platform, and I'm really excited to bring that update to you guys. So in the next few episodes, we're going to be finishing up this car. We're going to be working on this car, and I actually have a surprise in the upcoming video. I'm going to be down in Florida for Thanksgiving. My brother has a brand new Jeep 4LE, I think it is, or XE. Anyways, it's the Wrangler. I think it's the 4LE Wrangler, 2021 Jeep Wrangler. Somebody actually totaled out his 2020 Volvo S60 R Design. So if some of you guys have been following me from last year, when he bought that car, somebody rear-ended him and it got totaled. So he picked up the Jeep Wrangler, and I want to be able to drive it and do a review on it, bring it to the channel, put it out into the SEO world, because I think, from what I understand from his mouth, that it's a pretty freaking amazing car, and it actually brought a lot of enjoyment back to driving because he was kind of bored of the Volvo. The Volvo has like very little soul to it, you know, and it's a very numb car, these new Volvos. So he went from an Audi S4 to the Volvo, now to the Jeep. He's like, wow, this thing's awesome. And of course it's the hybrid, so you can drive on electric and you can drive on gas, And it's kind of a new technology that Volvo actually came out with a couple years ago with their XC90 T8 they called it. And now other car manufacturers are bringing that technology on board. So I'm excited to bring that to you guys. And that will be in the upcoming video this Sunday. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for that video. And I'm gonna stop talking. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. This is a quick 15-minute or so update for you on everything that's happening with the car fleet here. So a lot of exciting stuff coming for the SAAB and a lot more exciting stuff coming for the Jag. And I hope all of it goes smooth and all of it goes well, and we'll stay tuned. So thanks for watching.